What's up, folks? A very exciting day. It's episode 3 of I Just Clocked Off. Great news today. Something that's right up my alley. I'm really excited to talk about it. The Portland Trailblazers were sold for a petty sum of $4 billion. This is interesting to me. It kind of crosses over between two of my favorite sports. I really like the NBA. I really like the NHL. I played hockey growing up. I also ran cross country, and I play ultimate frisbee and disc golf. So if you have questions about white people sports, get at me in the comments. Let me know. I'll tell you all about it. With that being said, so the Trailblazers were sold for about $4 billion. The crossover here is that they were bought by the owner of the Carolina Hurricanes of the NHL, a guy named Tom Dundon. Continuing with our white people sports theme, he is also a big pickleball investor, which I think is really funny for obvious reasons. Pickleball is just funny. It's just tennis, but without the running. This is interesting to me for sports economics reasons as well, because Tom Dundon has a reputation for being a little bit thrifty as far as sports owners go. You know, the Carolina Hurricanes have been really, really successful with him as the owner. I was just reading an article in Sports Illustrated. That's my source for today, Sports Illustrated. Thank you. I believe it said that they had made the conference finals 3 times and they'd won the Central Division either 3 or 5 times. They're really, really good. They have a really interesting style. They just made some big moves in free agency. I think they're going to be really good again next year. That's all beside the point. We're just talking about the economic side of it for today. Sorry, trying to find my best side here. You know what I'm saying? This is a big video for me. This could be my breakout. Anyways, yeah, so Tom Dundon, a little bit of a miser as far as sports owners are concerned. I find that interesting that he's getting into the NBA because the NBA has a higher salary cap. There are a lot more ways to get around the cap as well. We'll talk about the second apron and stuff, I'm sure, down the road, but there's, even with all those restrictions, it's still a much looser cap structure than the NHL. So Dundon is going to have to spend a lot more money to finance the Trailblazers than he did on the roster for the Hurricanes. Even though hockey has a lot more players on the roster, the cap is still quite a bit lower. So this is pretty interesting from that standpoint. It's also interesting because obviously these teams are on opposite sides of the country. They are both small market teams. Coincidentally, both of them have black and red color schemes, which I think is kind of funny. It's kind of fun. He doesn't have to change up his wardrobe very much. That's nice for him. We know he doesn't like to spend money. But yeah, I think it's pretty interesting. I always think that small market teams in professional sports are interesting. The Trailblazers have had a really good record as a small market team going back, ever since they drafted Dame, they were really, really good. They were consistently a playoff team, made that one run to the conference finals. Kind of fool's gold, but they always had a good team. So it looks like that's going to continue. A lot of people like them for this season. They see them as kind of a sleeper playoff team. I like their coaching staff. Chauncey Billups obviously was a great player. He's a great point guard. He has a really interesting young point guard on his team with Scoot, and Dame is back there now, which is awesome. I think that was a great story. I also love everything that the Bucks did. That's a whole separate conversation. But yeah, so I think this is pretty interesting. I would love to see how much the Trailblazers plan to spend. It's also the last thing I'll say. It's an interesting little insight into the NBA market, because the Boston Celtics just sold for $6 billion. The Los Angeles Lakers just sold for $10 billion. So you put the Blazers and the Celtics together, you get to the Lakers sale price. So obviously the Trailblazers are not nearly as prestigious as those two franchises. Those are the two marquee franchises in the NBA, understandably so. The Trailblazers do have a really good history. Clyde the Glide was great. They won that awesome Spirit of 77 title with Bill Walton. But yeah, it's a smaller market team. $4 billion is still a ton of money. I mean, you know, I don't think this means that the NBA's team valuations are going to go down necessarily. It will be interesting to see if/when expansion happens, what the new expansion teams look like. I've heard like, you know, between 5 and 6 for the expansion teams. So Portland, this sale would be significantly less than that. That's kind of interesting. We'll see if that actually happens. You know, there's when I say I've heard things, I don't have inside sources. I just listen to podcasts, I read articles, et cetera, et cetera. But what I've heard is that expansion talks are kind of cooling down. The NBA is looking at some different business ventures. So we'll have to see. Maybe this is a herald of things to come. I don't know. But again, this is a great crossover for me. A lot of fun story. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Have a good one. Bye-bye.